Hello everyone, this is your principal here over at Golden Oak High School. Today we are going to be doing a case study on attendance rates. So let's get started. We are a suburban community who is comprised mainly of middle income families, although we do have a growing diverse population the last several years. We consist of 965 students in the grades 9 through 12. We have a very low teacher turnover rate. Many of you have been here 10 years or more, which is awesome, and it shows your dedication to the job. Up until recently, we have had one of the highest rate of attendance in the district, but the last couple of years that has flipped, and now we are one of the lowest. 659 students so far this semester have missed more than 10 days of school. That is 68%. 85% of the students have missed at least 10 days. That's a lot of school being missed. So, why have attendance rates decreased so much? Well, let's take a look at a few cases of students whose attendance has dropped. First, Karen. Karen is a junior. She has above average grades for her freshman and sophomore years. Karen was actually on the National Honor Society in her sophomore year. She has a high quality of work, and the teachers view her very highly. Recently, though, this first semester, her work's diminished. Her absences have increased, and her parents recently requested a meeting with the counselor. In the notes, I found that during the summer, Karen was married, and we're not sure if this has anything to do with her being absent, but it could be something to look at. She usually misses Mondays and Fridays, and a teacher has reported that she has failed to take one of her midterms. The next student is Tyrone. Tyrone is a sophomore here at Golden Oak. He is in the honors program. He is doing pretty well in classes, making average progress. Tyrone has missed 5 days in the month of September while he traveled with his parents to Washington, D.C. for his mother's professional conference. And then his dad took him out of school for a week in November to go to Canada. Both of these instances, his parents discussed that they believed it was educational opportunities for him to do some traveling. Now we have Christina. Christina is a freshman here at Golden Oak. She's in regular classes. 3 different times over the first semester, Christina has missed at least 4 days in a row. She's missed 2 exams, which has required her algebra teacher to request a meeting with her parents. Her grades have dropped to C. She now has 1 C and 2 Ds. Her minister had written notes for her absences to excuse her from school to attend church meetings. In these notes, though, there was no discussion about the locations or dates of the meetings, so we're unaware of that. Next up, we have Mr. Carl. Carl is a sophomore. He attends classes here regularly in the mornings, and in the afternoons he does vocational. During the vocational education, he focuses on construction trade skills and drafting. He has several random days missed during the semester. A truant officer was sent out to his house in November. The parents reported they did not support strong attendance because when he felt sick, he had the opportunity to stay at home. It was up to him. And it was also not something that they valued because, as it turns out, his father also did not finish high school and said Carl can come work with him if he's not able to complete school. Finally, we have John. John is a junior here and the quarterback of our football team. At the beginning of the school year, he suffered an injury, which required him to miss a little. And then he is now missing Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons to attend physical therapy. And he also misses Friday afternoons during football season in order to get rest before games. Next, we are going to look at some legal and ethical concerns that come with lack of attendance. In 1944, Prince versus Massachusetts ruled that the state has power over parents when they fail to provide for the welfare of their children. And this includes making them attend school. Parents are required to report any cause of absence for their child. Our policy is we only are excusing children for illness, death in the family, inclement weather, or any other valid reason approved by a school official. Teachers are accountable for documenting absences. These absences are affecting students' academic achievement, and sometimes favoritism comes into play. So what's happening? Student absences have increased and therefore affecting student achievement. So let's look again at who is affected and involved. The people affected are the students, the teachers, administrators, other school staff, families, and community members. And this includes relationships with agencies such as social services and the juvenile courts. The place that's affected is right here at Golden Oak High School. It also includes our suburban hometown, our middle-class families, our changing population, and our growing student population consisting of more Hispanic and Asian students. It also is affecting our program, our experienced teachers with 10 years of experience, and the extracurricular activities that we love to provide. We have 11 teams, 31 clubs, and school-sponsored activities. Things we aren't aware of at this moment are specific numbers in change of demographics, attendance rates within the past 3 to 5 years, what made each of those years different, and staff and knowledge of attendance policies. This is my first year here, and I'm still learning the ropes too, so we're going to figure this out together, all right? So now let's ask ourselves, how is this affecting our students and the stakeholders? Well, with the students, it affects their academic achievement. It affects their future careers because a lot of the times employers are looking for someone who is dependable and hardworking. And these are things that they're going to learn, life skills they learn here at school. It's affecting their ability to become productive members of our society. And it also affects their social and emotional well-being, which is so important to anybody. So how is it affecting the other stakeholders? Well, it is damaging the reputation to our school. We are now the lowest in our district in attendance rate. It's definitely making it more difficult for teachers to do their job. It's diminishing the classroom performance that we're seeing. It's increasing the uneducated community that we're living in. And it's also decreasing the lack or the community involvement we have. So with all this data and information gathered, we need to collaboratively work together to fix the problem. So what are some possible options? Option 1, we can do nothing. Simple as that. Let it go as is. Number 2, review current attendance policies with stakeholders. This would allow for teachers to be more consistent with following policies. It would also create a better understanding for families. The third option would be a data-driven comprehensive improvement plan, where we would create a team, collect data, and make data-driven decisions. So what are the pros and cons? Option 1, do nothing. Pros, that's the easy route, status quo, don't change a thing. Cons, change will not be made. Number 2, we can review current policies regarding attendance. Pros, well, may provide better understanding to the stakeholders. Cons, this only serves as a reminder, but not necessarily improves the situation. So you're really not changing anything, right? And it also could make teachers feel like they're being targeted. Third option, a data-driven comprehensive improvement plan. Pros, we'll be able to find trends and patterns within the data. We'll make data-driven decisions, and we can move forward to make improvements, driven by change. We can create new ideas, promote collaboration, and a more positive school culture. And there would be more involvement from all. The cons? It is time consuming and a little more work. But, you know what? It's a change that needs to be made for our students. That is why number 3 option, data-driven comprehensive improvement plan, is the best option. It can be implemented in a positive school culture. Get stakeholders motivated through excitement and positive attitude. It promotes open dialogue where all opinions are valued. This option is thorough and it covers all measures, and it takes into account all who will be affected. So, how are we going to put this plan into effect? First, we start by creating a team. Then we're going to provide training and professional development. Next, we collect and analyze the data and look at all the measures. Once that's done, we present the data. And then we collaborate with all the stakeholders to create a data-driven plan. This will encourage communication and value all opinions, and it will advocate for all the students. This data-driven plan includes finding patterns and trends with subgroups to see if certain populations may be affected more than others, or they might need additional resources. It will offer those resources through staff support and programs. It's also going to help build relationships and create positive school culture. It's going to involve families, community members. For example, we could design more family activities to get them involved. It's going to promote the importance of attendance. It's going to give reasons why it is important and how it helps with academic achievement. It's going to monitor attendance, and then we're going to follow up. Because if we're not following up, we're not going to know if it's making a difference. It's also going to create measurable goals with families. This plan, if followed, helps find a solution to the problem at Golden Oak High School. It's going to make data-informed decisions. It's going to help us make data-informed decisions about how to promote continuous improvement within the school. We're going to be able to evaluate the data, and that's going to help us look for needs and develop a solution to support school improvement and student development. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to going through this process with all of you and making a change.